In the Shadow of the Moon is a good example, I suppose, because that was my first feature doc, even though it was actually commissioned as a 90-minute Channel 4.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
We all had this ambition we wanted to make this film, as good as we possibly could. So, they sold it to Channel 4 on the basis that they could get 5 Apollo astronauts, and Channel 4 said, if you can get 5, we'll give you a 90-minute. And then on the strength of those interviews and the word that went around the astronaut corps, we got about another 5 as well. So in the end, we had an astronaut from every Apollo mission. And in fact, probably the only key person we didn't have is Neil Armstrong. Although he was contacted and he did come back and he said, look, I just don't want to do any more interviews. But he gave us the support, his blessing. And that film had a very light direction from David Sington, who's the director, because he just came in and give me a blank piece of paper, and he said, the narrative's Apollo 11, and that was it.
It's T-minus 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 53 seconds, and counting.
I worked with the producer on that, Chris Riley, and so we built these stories up, and then David would come in and say, oh, well, let's do this and let's do that, but let's not do that. And we had so much freedom to construct the story, and so although the narrative was Apollo 11, because we had all these other astronauts, we could flesh out the story of Apollo 11 with the other astronauts' experiences, because there was a lot of common stuff, like they all sat in the Saturn V and launched, so they could all tell us what that was like. And that was just fantastic. And then the other funny thing was, I was putting assemblies together. So I had all this amazing NASA footage, which had all just been transferred from the NEG for the first time since the 1970s. And it looked absolutely incredible. And so I just bunged these kind of sequences, they weren't even proper sequences, they were just like assemblies, and slapped some music on. And David looked at these and said, oh, marvelous, music sequences. So this just method of just starting just to collate the material suddenly became part of the backbone of the film. And he wanted these music sequences because he just really liked how that worked. So that worked. So that was a good example of just having the freedom to kind of mess around with the material, if you like, and that kind of instructed us for how we wanted to put the film together.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.